What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're covering the Malaysian Grand Prix in Season 3 of F1 2016 Career Mode. Looking at the standings right now, things are looking very good. We're sitting in P4, 57 points behind the championship leader in Max Verstappen. So it's getting closer after our string of podiums now. It's getting tight between whether I should stop R&D development for the rest of the season or maybe push on with the car for the rest of the season in the slightest of chances that maybe I can win the championship, but we'll have to wait and see. We are going to be upgrading the engine or some other component of the car later on in this episode, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Friday practice now, and this is the second practice session, and well, that wasn't the best of finishes to the lap, but it was still pretty uncompetitive. 16th place in practice 3 it was. Practice 1 wasn't that good either. We did some long running in that session and we ended up in 21st place. So yeah, it's always really depressing at the start of these weekends because like I just got no pace. I can't compete with the guys that I'm supposed to be racing with, and I think that's down to like the track conditions. I just can't seem to flourish when the track grip is just so low. But we have enough resource points now. We have upgraded the engine, and that's going to make us hopefully a few tenths better off in the remaining races of the season. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But now it's qualifying for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and we're going out pretty much at the end of the session. We want to basically get through with just the one-time lap, do as little mileage on the tyres as what we possibly can. Checkered flag is out, and we're sitting in dead last at the moment. This lap looks pretty clean at the moment. Hopefully we can just secure ourselves well inside that top 10, and we can continue on to qualifying 2. Open the DRS, run up to the line. We'll see what our very first lap is. It is P9. Now that is much better than the kind of pace that we showed in practice. That's always the case. Like, practice, dead slow. Qualifying in the race, things get a little bit better. Qualifying 2 now, we put in a banker time of a time that's got us 15th place. Heading into turn 1. Our teammate Lewis Hamilton has blocked us at turn 1. Unbelievable scenes. This is our final lap in qualifying 2, and Lewis goes out and does that. Oh, man. This is the onboard from him here. You'll see he kind of speeds up and then he slows down as he sees me coming and just blocks me perfectly. He sped up, then slows down, speeds up again, and as we slow it down, he turns in for the corner, just hugs the inside, makes me go around the outside, and costs me a couple of tenths there through the first sector. But we still go purple through sector 1, which is absolutely mental. Sebastian Vettel, of course, is on the medium tyre, so that might explain why we might be quickest of everyone so far. Maybe a lot of front runners are on the medium so far, but yeah, this is going to be our last lap of the session. Hopefully we can get through to qualifying 3. We are purple still, 6.5 tenths up on our previous best, but 1 tenth down on Sebastian Vettel. I don't know how we're purple then, but we're going to carry on. We're a second up now on our previous best, so surely now we're going to make it through to qualifying 3. We just need to nail this penultimate, which is the hardest corner of the entire track. And then, of course, the final corner, another crucial one. Getting a nice exit off of that one is always critical to your lap time here in Malaysia. Braking very late as this exit road off to the right starts. Turn in, second gear. We missed the apex a little bit. Get on the power early. Open the DRS. Rich revs. Up to the line. It's all down to the Mercedes. Straight line speed to get us there. It's position 8 for qualifying 2. And with that, we should be able to get through to qualifying 3. So we're out. We returned to the garage with 3-4 seconds to go. We were still in position 8, and then time ran out, and we came to this screen that you see now, and we are now 11th place and out of qualifying for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And we have not made it into qualifying 3. Oh, man, that's unbelievable. I made a couple of mistakes over the course of the lap, and Lewis blocked me at turn 1, but look at the difference between myself and Fernando Alonso. The difference between getting into qualifying 3 was half a tenth. Ah, man. This field is so close in the midfield. It's unbelievable. But we got to take a positive out of this. In the race, we can take our own strategy, start on harder compound tyres, maybe do one less stop, but ideally, you want to be up there with your teammate. You want to be fighting at the front there and challenging the leaders. A lot of those guys are going to be starting on the mediums as well. So this could be a very interesting race strategy-wise. I'm very much looking forward to how this goes. Because it could be an absolute cracker in terms of strategy. But yeah, pretty crap qualifying, to be honest. Let's hope the race is better and we can be much more competitive and really show our true pace. It's time for the race.
From uncompromising heat to unrelenting storms, you never know quite what you're going to get here in Kuala Lumpur. The inaugural race in 1999 was the last of 4 Grand Prix victories for Northern Ireland's Eddie Irvine. I wonder who'll be adding their name to that history today.
So here we are then, on the grid of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Taking a look at the race strategy now, you can see we're going to have some rain for the for the back end of this race, and that's definitely going to make things interesting. So, considering we started in 11th place, we have free reign in terms of tyre choices. I was always going to start on a harder compound, and we're going to go for the extremes here. We're going to go for the hard tyres, go on hard tyres again, and fingers crossed that should be enough to get us through to that rain period where we can switch on to the intermediate tyres. And you never know, we may get away with one less pit stop versus some of the leaders. So I'm very much looking forward to this race. Hopefully the rain comes down by the end of it. 5 red lights, and away we go for round number 14 of season number 3. And already it's been an amazing start. We just flew past Romain Grosjean on the hard compound tyres. That's just unprecedented. You don't see someone on soft compound tyres just getting a shite start like that compared to me. But either way, heading into turn 2 now. We're going around the outside of the Ferraris, the Force Indias. We've got Raikkonen right in front of us. That's us back into P8 now as Perez tries to hang around the outside there. I'm trying to squeeze him, trying to limit his options heading into turn 4. And we do grab that position off of Perez there. So a decent start, a few positions found, and you know, any progress we make now is definitely going to help us at the back end of this race. Essentially, we just want to stay with the front runners here. We won't have the pace initially, but as this first stint wears on, that's not going to do us any favors running wide through the second part of that right-hander, and Perez gets that spot back. So that's exactly the kind of thing I didn't want to have there, is conceding position, conceding time, because yeah, these guys are going to be stopping soon. They're going to be undercutting me by an absolute mile. The last thing we want to be doing is driving slowly and conceding a pit stop's lead to the leaders by the time I make my pit stop. It's going to kill our race. Lap 4, people are already coming into the pits now, and by lap 6, pretty much everyone on the soft compound tyres has pitted. The only people left out now are Verstappen and the other guys who are on the medium tyres as well. And even those guys are starting to stop now as Verstappen, our race leader, makes his first pit stop in this Malaysian Grand Prix, and now we're into the lead of this race there. So yeah, that's just how quickly the first stint goes by when you're on the soft compound tyres.
Okay, 2 stops left now. 2 stops. You have 4 laps till your pit window opens.
Okay, so 4 laps to go until we make our very first stop. So from here on in, we need to push and make up that lap time. Nico Hulkenberg is out of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Why? There's a safety car.
Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down. Maintain positive delta.
Okay, so we haven't lost anyone else in this race. I'm assuming that Hulkenberg has had some kind of reliability problem, most likely the engine, and he is out of this race. Now, I've got to take this opportunity to make a pit stop. I have to, otherwise we're going to be left hung out to dry. But with the Delta and the AI having to stick to that, they have to drive a little bit slower than what is otherwise necessary in green flag racing. So we're going to make up a few seconds here and potentially emerge still on the podium after making our first pit stop. Now, this is going to be awesome for our race here because we're going to rejoin just in front of Sebastian Vettel. It's a very tight battle between the two of us. I'm trying to get out in front of him because track position means so much at this point in the race, but Vettel gets us, and we have to settle for P4 in this race in the Malaysian Grand Prix. Oh man, this was tight on the way out of the pit exit. I've got cold tyres, I've got no grip at this stage. Vettel goes clean around the outside on the softer compound tyres, and what can you do? I gave it my all, but Vettel was just a little bit braver. He had a little bit more grip heading into that corner. And, yeah, it's really good to race Vettel again after the rivalry that we had in the midway point of this season. it's good to see that we haven't crashed yet. This is the onboard with Verstappen following behind. I actually skated in there with the rear brakes locked a little bit, so I carted Vettel a little bit wide without making any contact. But yeah, very fiery start to this Malaysian Grand Prix, and we are in a very good position in this race.
We don't have the data for that, I'm afraid.
Okay, so that's a little bit interesting. I was just asking the engineer about what was happening in terms of weather. Normally when he says we don't have the data for that at the moment, it means things are changing. So we might see some rain possibly a little bit earlier than what is anticipated. But Pascal Wehrlein, former teammate, makes a pit stop under safety car. One of the few drivers to actually do that. So we might look to him later on in this race if he comes up towards the front with fresher tyres or track position. Because quite often when you pit under safety car, things often work out for you later on in the race. Now we're getting ready to restart this race. I believe Daniel Ricciardo is at the head of the queue. Sebastian Vettel in second. Pascal was in front of us, so he's going to be the guy on the freshest tyres possible. Apart from myself, I haven't taken too much wear out of my tyres, by the way, because really on the safety car, you don't put any load under the tyres. So essentially we've made it to our pit stop window, and we should be able to continue on until the rain comes at the back end of the race without needing another stop. Green flag once again, and let's try and get in front of Vettel, possibly Ricciardo as well. Vettel is our #1 target here. He's on the medium tyres. If he gets to the lead, he's going to romp away with this race with those tyres. But we may actually get Ricciardo here. He's had a pretty average exit out of turn 2, and now we're shaping him up heading into turn 3 and 4. Up the inside we go on our fellow Australian, and there we go. We've hit the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix with an inside front lockup, and wow, that was a tardy exit to say the least, but we managed to get him, and I think we might just have him covered off as we go through this middle sector now, and we can lead a lap of this Malaysian Grand Prix. Heading on to the very next lap, and here comes Ricciardo. He tries to have a look up the inside, moves to the outside. Nothing really going on for him at the moment. Look at the train that I've formed behind me. There's 6, 7, 8, 9 cars.
Rain to arrive in around 10 minutes time.
And rain is coming. 10 minutes. It's lap 14. We're going to get rain by the end of this race. And that is for certain. So already, things are really playing into our favour here with the way we've worked our strategy. With the rain coming down in 10 minutes time, I'm almost certain that everyone behind me needs to make another stop. They can't go as far into the race as what I can on my fresh, hard tyres. So I just need to stick it out here, defend my position, and we're going to get away with one free pit stop. The only other person who may challenge me is people who started on the hard compound tyres themselves, or Pascal Wehrlein. That's who we're racing at this phase of the Malaysian Grand Prix, apart from the on-track battle that we're having with Daniel Ricciardo for the lead of this race. But looking long term, people like that are who we're aiming at trying to keep behind us. But this is Daniel Ricciardo now following on board from behind myself, and you can just see graphically, how much time Ricciardo makes up in that middle sector. His Red Bull just works so well in the high-speed corners. One thing I must say that is lacking in this Mercedes is engine performance a little bit, but also the aero. We suffer from a little bit of understeer. I've noticed that quite a bit in these high-speed circuits. But later on in the lap, you can see just how close the field is. I believe Sebastian Vettel made a pit stop as well, so he's going for a bit of an undercut strategy before the rain comes out. Ricciardo has got back in front of us. He overtook us in the final corner. Now we're lunging him into the first corner, and we've hit the lead once again of this Malaysian Grand Prix. But here comes Max Verstappen round the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. Can he make the move sticky? We'll have the inside for the next two right-handers, and it's going to be a squabble fest between the two Red Bulls. I'm going to try and pull away as much as I can while those guys are fighting, but ultimately we still don't have the kind of car pace to match it with Red Bull. Believe it or not, we need to count on these crazy strategies that we come up with. We just can't genuinely beat these guys on a track like this against Red Bull. Their car is still a little bit too quick for us, so we've just got to do everything we can to defend for as long as we can until this rain comes down. We give Verstappen a little bit of a touch as he went defensive into turn 1, defensive into turn 2, another light touch, and now it's around the outside heading through turn 3. Hopefully we can have the straight line speed advantage over him and possibly a lunge like we did to Daniel Ricciardo into turn 4, and we get the move done much cleaner this time versus Daniel Ricciardo. We didn't completely run out wide, but yeah, much better exit that time. And yeah, we have maintained the lead for now. Following on board with Max Verstappen, he's made his pit stop now, so that's going to relieve the pressure quite a bit now, as a lot of the cars behind me were attacking me so much. It was getting to the point where it was really interrupting with my flow and with my rhythm and keeping up those consistent lap times. Team radio.
Lewis is currently in P5. Okay, distance to teammate, 21.0 seconds. They're on fresh hards.
Okay, so I was just getting a bit of an update on where Lewis was, really just to gauge where everyone was, because now the rain is about to fall down, and this is the kind of margin that we're looking at. 20 seconds back to Lewis Hamilton. It might be a little bit less to the Red Bulls, but we are looking very good at this phase just before the inters come on.
15 minutes spout of light rain, which will then move into heavy rain conditions.
Okay, so we might get heavy rain, but I don't think it's going to affect us before we get to the end of the race. Lap 23 now, and it is raining visibly on the screen. Track conditions are fading away now as puddles are starting to emerge, and just the overall grip is completely going out the window, so you have to drive very cautiously, stick it in lean res where you can, and here we might see our first gamble onto a set of intermediate tyres. This is Sergio Perez. He's putting soft compound tyres on. Yeah, bad move. Bad move. This is actually going to be the lap where I make my pit stop and fit on the intermediate tyres. I may be one of the first, and the engineer has just given me the strategy change suggestion, so it's ultimately time to come in now. And there you go. There's always the telltale sign when the DRS gets disabled. You should be coming into the pits ASAP to fit on some wet weather tyres. So slow down for the marks. That's the only thing that can really stop us from winning this race now, possibly, or a shitty pit stop, Red Bull Monaco style. Not bad. It wasn't 15 seconds. I'll take 2 or 3. Definitely a nice stop there. 2.4, and we may lose the lead here, but we're only going to have guys who are on dry tyres emerge in front of us in the form of Kimi Räikkönen. So look at this. He's just struggling so much. The gap was about 10 seconds, and now it's absolutely nothing. This is how much time you lose when you stay out on the wrong compounded tyre on a wet track. It's just diabolical. You can make anyone look silly when you're on intermediate tyres and they're on the dries. It's just absolutely mental. And that was our race. That was the race. We made the perfect strategy call, deciding to start on the hard compound tyres, doing it again, and running till the end of the race when we can ultimately fit on the intermediate tyres and get away with a free pit stop. Up to the checkered flag now, do some burnouts, a bit of showing off. We have won the Malaysian Grand Prix, but without a little bit of drama though. We almost ended our race right as we should have been celebrating. But there we go, a pretty comprehensive win. And wow, the only mistake of the day coming pretty much as the race was over.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
Let's just pretend that last 100 meters never existed. But what a way to finish this Malaysian Grand Prix, and what a way to impress the sponsors at their home race for Petronas. What a race. I just can't believe that. After getting knocked out in qualifying 2, Lewis Hamilton blocked me at turn 1. That was probably the deciding factor in me not making it into qualifying 3. If you think about it, if we would have made it into that final part of qualifying, this would never have happened. And who knows where we would have finished. Lewis probably would have beat us, but yeah, massive thank you to you, Lewis, for in some small way contributing to this win and putting us closer towards the top of this Drivers' Championship. We're getting closer now to the Red Bulls, not only in the drivers, but in the constructors as well. And I do have to beg the question, do we continue on with research and development? Because we may well win this season if things keep up like they are at the moment. The gap is only 40 points. I mean, if Verstappen has an engine retirement or something like that, anything's possible. I don't know. I just feel like it might be worth pushing on until the end of this season with the R&D. But I might be wrong. But yeah, you'll have to let me know, because we may well catch Red Bull anyway next season and challenge them. So I'll leave it to you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the Malaysian Grand Prix. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2016 videos. That's an outlook of how our season has gone so far. And as of late, yeah, things are really starting to go our way. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video very soon.